Hi guys, welcome to Butte Mountain Homestead. I'm going to try this again. I was supposed to have a video last week, which I did make. It was every step of the way of canning tomato sauce. And I didn't realize that I had actually YouTube, classical music or some sort of like soothing music playing in the background, which I had turned way down low. But when I uploaded the video, YouTube said no because I didn't have permission to use it. So I didn't go and silence it and do a voiceover. I just put up another little short little organizing video, but nobody's watched that, but that's okay. So today I'm just going to do diced tomatoes. I leave the skins on. It doesn't bother us to have skin in, tomato skins in our diced tomatoes when I use them for chilies or spaghetti sauce or whatever. But I did want to show you, this is how hot we are here. These were harvested last night, and look, they're starting to cook. That's how hot we get, is it cooks the tomatoes in their skins. So they should still be okay. We've got, these are cat-faced tomatoes, fasciated blossoms where there's more than one blossom that made this. Look at this one. This one is huge. I might weigh that one. It's not that big. I mean, it's probably close to a pound, I would say, but look at that, cat-faced. So yeah, I'll just cut off that part and dice up the rest. But I just need to get these washed. These are, there's some beefsteak in here, and then these are Abe Lincoln and Celebrities, and then I will show you what Amish paste we have. So here's just the Amish paste that we have. I go ahead and include them because it doesn't bug me. It's just less water. So, and it'll make a nice tomato when it gets in the sauce. And then I have a bag from an earlier harvest that I had diced and put in the freezer. And what I will do when I get ready to use these is I will just cut a hole in the bag and let all of that water drip off. No, I'm not going to do anything with that. But I might be able to get 2 or 3 pints just out of that. So I actually might save these for last because I'm just using the pressure canner, but for water bath canning, I just use my water canning lid. My pressure canner holds 9 pints, so I want to have 9 pints. I'm hoping to do at least 2 or 3 batches each of sauce, diced tomatoes, and then ketchup. Ketchup would be last, but if I can get 1 each started, my plants they suffered for that 2 weeks. We had over 105 for 2 weeks. 2 weekends in a row were 111. So I have citric acid. It requires a 1/4 teaspoon per pint, and then Redmond's real salt, a 1/2 teaspoon per pint. And what I'm going to do is raw pack, which is where I put them in. I'm going to sterilize the jars, but I'm going to just dice the tomatoes, put those in first, put the tomatoes in, and then add boiling water to them, and then they'll go in a hot water canner. That way it's not hot pack per se because the tomatoes aren't hot, but by the time they get to the jar, they're hot. Anyways, and then they will process for 40 minutes for pints. I don't have my lids out, but let me get them real quick. I use the Superb canning lids, made in America. And I think they're trying on coming up with jars, but they're not going to be a guarantee. They're having a hard time finding glass made in the USA, so not sure how that's going to work. Yeah, I just have jars that I've been using, but Superb, I really like their products, so I'll link the lids down below. I think I got them off of Layman's. You can't get them off of the website. You have to get them from a distributor, and Layman's is where I got them. I think you can get them off of Amazon too, but actually this batch I might have got off of Amazon, so I will try to link it. Anyways, so I'm going to get tomatoes washed up, get jars filled, get the canner filled, and get it done. Again, no music playing so that this will upload. Anyways, hang tight and I'll show you as I go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ones that started to cook in their skins. I'm not sure how much I'll have to cut off. I can't imagine it not being very pleasant under there. It's probably kind of mushy where the cooked parts are, but I'm going to go ahead and get them chopped up. Okay, I went ahead and took a break. The ones that are that were cooking in their skins, they're providing quite a bit of meat. So what I am doing though is I'm not leaving all of the liquid and the seeds in there. So I am kind of squeezing them over a colander to get out a lot of that. And it doesn't look like they were 100% done ripening, but they were gonna rot if I don't do something with them. So they'll eat. I'll get them in jars mixed with other ones and they'll be just fine. So like I said, the seeds and skins don't bother us, and they're little, they could have went a little bit longer, but I wouldn't have been able to use them, like I said, because they would have rotted. So anyways, I'm just cutting off the bad parts. Like I said, see, I can stick my finger in there. So I already cored them. I'm cutting off the bad spots, cutting them in half, and then I'm just kind of giving them a squeeze over a colander to free up some of that liquid in the seeds and get them in a bowl. Okay, I combined the drained bag that I had in the freezer, and I have 3 jars filled with the citric acid and the Redmond's real salt. So I'm going to see how much that full bowl does. Probably get 4 pints out of there, so I doubt I use all of my tomatoes today, but we'll at least get 9 jars filled. And the recipe calls for leaving a 1/2 inch headspace, so I'll add just a little bit more and bring it up to about right there, and then I'll show you with the little tool. But usually canning jars will do, there's the 1/2 inch and then a 1/2, and there's a 1/4 is right there. So, but I'll show you. So I added boiling water, and then I let out all the air bubbles. This is that tool that comes in a canning kit. So there's the 1/2 inch, and we're spot on. So I'll get the other jars and get them in the canner. Oh, and before I proceed, after I had washed the jars, I did check all the rims to make sure there was no nicks in them, and then I take a cloth and use hot water just to clean up the rims. That looks like there's a dink, but there's not. It's just the way it's reflecting off the bowl. But I clean off the rims, and that way the lid adheres to them and gives a good seal, or actually seals. A lot of the lid failures is from either not a clean rim, or the jar was tightened, or the band was tightened too tight on there. So you just do finger tight. Okay, I got my canner full. It's about 2 inches above. So they say 1 to 2 inches above. That'll be fine. I could take out some, but and I still might, because it's over 2 inches. So anyways, I'm gonna get a little bit of water out of there, then get that up to a rolling boil, and then I'll start the timer for 40 minutes. See, and here's what's left out of that flat. I did pick out some unblemished ones for our fresh eating. There's one that has a blemish on it, but I mean, these are all still pretty good. I didn't use this big one because it still needs to ripen a little bit. So I think it would cook up just fine. So what I might do is once I get my mess cleaned up, is I might run these all through the food mill and the Amish paste, and then get a small batch of sauce going. I might cook it way down just to maybe have some pizza sauce. I might flavor it and have some pizza sauce on the shelves. We make our own homemade pizza. We do take out once in a while, but I might do this depending on how much I get. I'll do it in a 1/2 pints, and that'll be plenty enough for pizza night. So I think I might do that after I get everything cleaned up. Okay, I got all of the rest of those tomatoes, went through the food mill or the juicer, and what's nice about this pizza sauce is the tomatoes onion combo garlic powder, dried basil, dried oregano, and bay leaves are all from our garden. The only thing that's not is the little bit of sugar that cuts the little bit of the bitterness out of the tomatoes, and the salt and pepper. But pretty cool. Yeah, all of that is from our garden. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this cooking down, and I'm gonna let it get pretty thick. So it might be a good 3 or 4 hours. It's not quite a full pot. Last time when I did sauce, which was a full pot, you guys didn't see, but it was 3 hours, and it was just saucy. It wasn't thick. So I mean, it had reduced, but not thick like pizza sauce or pasta sauce. So I am gonna cook that down and hopefully be able to get 4 half pints out of there. The recipe that I'm kind of following is, this is out of the Ball Blue Book, and I'm doing the tomato sauce recipe, kind of tweaking it a little bit. I didn't use whole onion, I just used onion and garlic powder, and then I'll process it 35 minutes. It says for pints, so I don't see anything that's tomato related that's half pints, so I'll just do 35 minutes just to be on the safe side. Okay, I took the lid off and I let it just kind of settle down for a little bit. I mean, shut the heat off, of course. Took the lid off, let it settle down for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to carefully take them out. I'm not going to tip them. I'm not going to do anything. Take them straight out. Any water that's on top will evaporate. And then I'm going to leave them alone for 24 hours, and tomorrow I'll check for seals, clean up the jars, mark them and get them on the shelves. Any that didn't seal, I will stick in the fridge and use within the week. So, yep, pretty awesome. Hopefully 9 jars for the shelves. I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed. Out. So you just straight up, no tilting. Make sure you have a towel on the counter that absorbs the heat from the counter. Make sure they're not touching. And hopefully while we're doing this, we might hear a couple of them pop. Okay, I'm gonna get the other 6 and I'll wrap this video up. So thanks guys for hanging out with me on this version of canning. Sorry you missed the first one, but yeah, I'm gonna get the pizza sauce canned up too, and I might put a little short on about that. We'll see. If not, or I might put a picture at the end. So remember to always be kind and do what makes you happy. Remember to subscribe and share my videos if you like them. If you don't, if you could leave me a comment as to why and see what I can improve on. So we're always improving. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, bonus footage real quick. That's reduced by half. And then I realized I had said the wrong measurements on the citric acid and the salt for the half pints. So for half pints, I'm going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon of citric acid and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Because for pints, it's 1/4 teaspoon for that and 1/2 teaspoon for that. So anyways, I'm going to get these jarred up and put in the canner.